All right, so this is the project that I'm on that I talked about in one of the assignments that involved the LED lighting. There's 54 LED lights in the ceiling, all natural white light, which is 5,000 hertz. And there's a couple exceptions that I'm going to show you the difference. So the idea of this video was I was working on this project and I worked by myself. So what I perceived as misdesigned or poorly designed items can be very frustrating and time consuming when you work by yourself. So I ran into such a thing and I thought, and it involved the lighting, and I thought, this really relates to one of the classes that I teach. So I thought, how cool would that be just to make a video of this project site and point out design concepts that were built into this project because of the way we see things and the way the brain interprets the outside world. So this is kind of just a broad view going around this project. This structure has 3 levels. This is the lower level, and it was 1,500 square feet completely open. And what the customer wanted was what I refer to as a mother-in-law suite that might help add income and value to the house if somebody such as in-laws were renting this bottom level. So I want to walk through a couple of design concepts that I put into this. I was pretty much free to design whatever I wanted, and there was some input from the clients. So one of the items that I did was come over to this stairwell, and initially this wall here, the nearer wall, continued down, and I put that box there to show you where that wall ended. And then at the end there was a tiny, I think it was like a 28-inch door or 30-inch door at the bottom. So as you were coming down these steps, it literally felt like you were walking through a tunnel, and that's not very visually pleasing. The visual brain doesn't like being compressed. So what I did is I tore that wall out, reconstructed it, and made it much more open. And the other consideration too in the design is the client wants cable railing coming down, and I wanted all the balusters to be of equal height, 42 inches. So I didn't want to carry this wall back or tear it back to where I have a small baluster. So I can fit a 42-inch baluster on there, and I think the railing's going to look great. So now you come down the steps, and this is the view that you have from when you make the turn. And the initial design was that they wanted this big, massive see-through fireplace. And I kind of argued the point that maybe that wouldn't be so good. One, it would close up this very nice open space. And the other thing too, when I'm standing here, I see the full fireplace, and we're going to, or I'm going to tile that, so it's going to be a beautiful fireplace. But I also see straight through this window out into the wooded area. So my vision is expanded through that window. It's not obstructed by the fireplace. As soon as I come down, I could see the openness of this lower level, and I think it just works better. So here's a thing too, a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, and you could try this at your house. So here's a 3-gang light switch box, and the brain likes logic, and what it anticipates is that when I switch the far right light, that the light will be to my right. And in fact, that switch controls that light above the ladder that's not wired in yet. So that's to my far right. So when I come back around, my logic would tell me that whatever this controls is between these. And in fact, it controls the lights directly to my right. And then the obvious thing would be this would control to my left to whatever these control. And in fact, it does. It's the hallway lights. All right, go in your house. See if your light switches kind of line up to a logic of what your vision and your visual brain would anticipate. There's a couple weird design things going on too. One of them is with the fireplace. So this is a natural gas fireplace, and I ran into a design issue with this to the point where I'm probably going to call the manufacturer, and I'm going to show you what it is here. But first, a couple things. Always have a wall valve for your natural gas. And also you see the angle there run into length. And you could probably take a guess what's behind that. Take a peek in there so you could see the gas line. So this is installed so that somebody doesn't penetrate through the outer skin of the fireplace and go into that gas line. So one of the interesting things about this that I found, let me back up here a little bit. This structure is held up by one column, and that is it. And the customer wanted that hidden. The fireplace was originally going to be on the exterior wall, and I had suggested that put a see-through in there, and I'll build that in. So I hid that column with that using the fireplace. One of the things that is really kind of bothering me is this is a ventless fireplace, and I'm going to pull this insulation back, and you can see that there's a junction box there, and that gets framed in. And you cannot frame a junction box in. So before we proceed any further, I get hold of the manufacturer and find out, I'm not aware of any NEC code that allows that to happen, and you cannot access that through the top of the fireplace. So kind of a bridge to cross. All right, a couple other items regarding our design. I kind of rotate this around a little bit. This was ripped out. I removed that, and that thing, annual estimated cost $424, and it was replaced with a tank lift system. And that used to set right here. And I installed a multi-filter system for the household, plus a water softener. And one of the things I love about PEX is color coding. So you can look at this and immediately tell what is my cold water, what is my hot water. All my valves are very accessible, easy to reach. And then the 1 inch, the white PEX, which is 1 inch, does not come colored. So I needed 1 inch to run into the filter system. Very nice. So I have a question for you. So this valve here, this is a bypass that I installed for them. So if something happens to the filter system, they can bypass it. So this is closed. Ball valves, perpendicular handle, valve is closed. So if I open that, which way is the water flowing? Does it flow up or is it flowing down? Well, the brain says it should be flowing up because that's what you indicated by moving and pointing the handle in that direction. So how many ball valves do you have that are installed backwards? So we're going to go in, and this is what replaced that tank up front. This operates at, I believe, less than half the cost. And again, love the PEX. Color coding is great. All the valves are very accessible. Even the gas valve, easily accessible. This is a mother-in-law suite, so I'm anticipating that elderly people may be here. This unit has a condensation drain on it, and it needed to run to an open drain. So we located the drain so that it's easily accessible. If the tank isn't used, the system isn't used for a while, then it would be very easy to pour water into that to make sure you have water in your trap. So also, they're using this for storage now until we get this project done. The hot water valves are easily located. The gas line is up off the floor, so it'd be easy just to reach behind this. There's going to be stackable washer and dryer in there, all designed to make the user easier to use this room. All right, so we're going to go back up. And working alone, if you've never hung drywall, it's a bear. And to hang drywall on a ceiling, one person is almost impossible. So I have a drywall lifter, and this thing has some pretty serious design issues. And I'm going to show you one here. And this reminds me, if you're at work, one of the things that I do, I look for things that are out of place at workstations. What is there that doesn't belong there? And this is pretty much the case, other than my respirator that I use sand in joint compound. So you can see there's a screwdriver here. And I'm like, what the heck's a screwdriver used for? Right? And if you ask the designer who designed this, he probably couldn't tell you why a person would have a screwdriver there. And once you use this, you'll see. When you're lifting, the drum that the cable wraps around does not weave, meaning the cable, there's no mechanism there to run the cable back and forth across the drum, referred to as reeving. So when you use this, what happens is that the cable stacks up on itself, and it stacks up against that drum. Like it's doing right there. And about 8 feet up, that stack comes apart, and your drywall drops a couple inches. And it could be very frustrating if it jumps just as you get it fit. And I'm one person. So what I do is I take my screwdriver, stick it in there, and I create my own reeving mechanism. Another feature, it has a brake. So when you get your drywall lifted, you can lock it into place. But there's a problem with this. To unlock this, I'm going to use my knee. You have to lift that brake up. So that allows the top to come down. But there's an interesting thing that goes on here. If you've seen the little locking mechanism, that's an emergency lock. So it locks in place. So if I go over to unlatch it, I have to take the weight off of that locking mechanism. So I'm going to wind it back up. You can see it unlocks. And now you got to hold your hand on it to keep it from locking. But the problem with that is I have to hold my hand there. I have my knee on the brake. And now I got to wind this thing down. So I got my hand here, and I'm going to wind this thing down. And if my hand was still there, it gets amputated. At least my finger does. Another item. Do you have this at work? So there's 9 gas lines in there, none of them are tagged. The black ones came with the structure. The yellow ProFlex I put in myself, and we have tags ordered that will hang on the manifold indicating what line goes to what gas device. You know, for now we just marked them with marker. All right, so that's our little project, kind of an ergonomic micro lab here. So I hope you enjoyed it. It was fun to make.